45 years in prison. That is the sentence for Marcus Johnson, the man convicted of killing TJ Cunningham 3 years ago now.
Cunningham was a former CU football star who became a beloved educator here in Colorado. 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow was in the courtroom for today's emotional sentencing.
I am left to manage every last piece of our house now, and it is hard.
A loyal husband, a loving father, a dedicated teacher. That's how TJ Cunningham was described Friday in court by his wife, Christy.
We were just getting started with our lives and careers, and then he was killed.
In February of 2019, Cunningham was involved with Marcus Johnson in an ongoing dispute over a parking spot in their Aurora neighborhood. The two men agreed to settle the dispute in the parking lot of nearby Eagle Crest High School, where Johnson then shot and killed Cunningham. 6 weeks ago, a jury convicted Johnson of second-degree murder.
Tragic circumstances that arose out of a parking dispute.
The 46-year-old Cunningham was a married father of 5 children. He was a Colorado native and a star football player at CU who played 1 year in the NFL. When his playing days were over, he came back to Colorado and became an educator. At the time of his death, he was an assistant principal at Hinckley High School in Aurora.
I am hardly ever alone, but there are so many times when the room is full of people and I feel like I'm all alone.
For his part, before he was sentenced, Johnson made a brief statement to the court.
I have a lot of remorse of what happened, just period. If I could turn back the hands of time, and do something different, I really would.
Johnson then asked the judge to show mercy, and she did, but only a little, sentencing Johnson to 45 years in prison instead of the maximum 48.
Mr. Johnson made a series of really bad decisions. He could have stopped at any time that day.
One of TJ Cunningham's former colleagues at Hinckley High School also spoke at sentencing today. She said Cunningham lived for his students and that the school has never been the same since his death.
What a story, all over a parking spot. Thank you, Matt.
Right now, loved ones are holding a visitation in Colorado Springs for Daniel Aston, one of the victims in the Club Q shooting. And next week, there will be a memorial service for him. That is Wednesday at the Shove Chapel at Colorado College. It starts at 10 in the morning and it's open to the public. And the visitation for another Club Q victim, Raymond Green Vance, also happening right now in the Springs. His services are at Swan Law Funeral Directors. Tomorrow, the family's inviting the public for a dove release and candlelight vigil. That dove release is at 4:30. The vigil will run from 6 until 8.
Aurora police are looking for suspects in an overnight shooting.
Aurora police are looking for suspects in an overnight shooting that hurt one man and killed another. It happened just after midnight on Exposition Avenue near South Havana. Police say they found 2 men with gunshot wounds at the scene. One of those men died at the hospital. The other had emergency treatment this morning. We talked to a witness who says he woke up to the gunshots. The bullet hit his neighbor's home.
One of the bullets was not too far where I was sleeping in the living room, so I think a few more inches it would have went in my apartment.
Police say they're actively pursuing any leads. If you know anything, they ask you to call Crime Stoppers.
Police have arrested 4 more young people in connection with last month's assault on RTD's W line in Lakewood. That is now a total of 9 people either charged or facing charges in an attack. 2 girls were arrested at McLean High School and 2 boys at Longview High School, which shares a campus with McLean. This attack happened on Thursday, November 3rd, between the Federal Center and Wadsworth stations. And a 47-year-old man says he suffered 11 facial fractures. There was also an attack on the W line in October, and more kids were arrested in that case. Some of them were also involved in the November attack. Our Kevin Vaughn is looking into this today. We'll have more on that story coming up at 5.
All righty, a live look outside right now. Boy, it's been windy all day today. How long is this going to last? Let's bring in our meteorologist, Greg Perez, for a look. Greg, what do you say?
It's going to be lasting for at least the next 24 hours, but the good news is it's not going to be as strong as it was today. Today we saw gusts up to 80, even 85 miles per hour at times along the plains. While it will remain moderately strong this evening, we're only talking about, say, gusts anywhere between 25 to 40 miles per hour, especially in the Denver metro region. That high wind warning, it lasts for the plains for, say, the next hour or so. It expires at around 5 o'clock. 75 mile per hour wind gusts for the majority of the plains, with the exception up towards the north and east near Sterling with 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Once again, this lasts up until this evening at around 5 o'clock. Wind speeds right now anywhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour as you're pushing into the Denver metro region. Colorado Springs a little bit better at 18 miles per hour. Lyman, though, mighty impressive, anywhere between 30 to 35 miles per hour as well. And because of the dry conditions and the warm temperatures that we've had over the past 2 days, that's why we have that red flag warning. Once again, this only lasts up until 5 o'clock this evening, so for the next hour or so. But still, outdoor burning is not recommended. Currently, temperatures in the middle to lower 40s, 42 degrees in Denver. A good evening. Colorado Springs, we're sitting at 55 degrees. Nice balmy 66 degrees, though, down towards the south and east. All the meanwhile, we're expecting a little bit of snowfall. Not a whole lot more, though, in the mountainous regions and through Vail, Gunnison, even Telluride getting in on the action there. Look for all those clouds and, of course, the precipitation to clear overnight, but the winds are going to be staying strong. I'll let you know how strong coming up in my full forecast.
All right, let's take a live look at downtown Denver right now. Tomorrow night, this is where all the action will be during the 9 News Parade of Lights. There will be lights, marching bands, floats, and balloons all throughout the streets of downtown Denver. 9 News has been doing this since 1975, and now it's the largest parade in the Rocky Mountain region. The parade starts at 6 o'clock, but note here that the roads will start closing tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so take note of that. And here's a look at the route. It starts at the Denver City and County building at 14th and Bannock, then it travels up Tremont to 17th Street for several blocks, and then eventually turns onto Arapahoe Street. Then the parade loops back on to 15th to Glenarm. You can watch anywhere along this 2-mile route, or you can watch on 9 News.
Tomorrow, Grand County firefighters are going to be holding a meeting to help people learn more about wildfire preparation. Firefighters are coming up with a new wildfire response plan. The goal here, of course, protecting lives and property. And it's an important topic considering some of our recent winter wildfires. East Troublesome Fire, the Marshall Fire, just to name a few. One of the main messages that firefighters plan to cover is the importance of using fire-resistant materials in the construction of new homes.
You know, not only has the conditions around us changed, but you know, Grand County's seen a huge influx in visitors and new people move into the area, and a big changeover in properties. You know, more property sales than we've ever seen. So we've got a whole new group of folks here that need to be involved with this planning process and understand our risk and you know, help us plan for the future.
So that meeting is from 2 to 4 o'clock tomorrow at Grand Fire in Granby. Firefighters hope that people attending will also come with some of their own thoughts and ideas, so they want to hear from you. The last time the county made a plan like this was 2006.
More than 70 Colorado artists have bid for the new mural job to freshen up the Arvada post office. One artist's vision and story stood out. Photojournalist Mike Grady talked to him about the piece.
The Arvada post office. And so we have a lot of community members coming in and out of it, and we felt like from that standpoint it's a great spot for a mural because a lot of people are going to see it. I'm Kimberly Wagner, and I serve on the Arvada Arts and Cultural Commission. Marco Garcia is the name of the artist.
I definitely put my my design style into it. It's basically a story of the connections that we have with our families that are far away. It shows a letter that my mother used to send to Mexico. Sometimes that was the only way to connect to people that were far away. A letter was something very important. Throughout the mural, it kind of goes through all the different characters that are represented here, and the characters themselves kind of represent you know, chapters in our lives. When it reaches its final destination, then it has all the marks that the other hands will be receiving, which is my grandmother's hands on the other side. I think they'd be very proud of it, you know, because it kind of is representing our family and kind of what they went through to, you know, to come here to the U.S.
It's really about signifying the connection that we have with people that are important to us.
It represents the sacrifices that we make, you know, to give our families a better life.
The mural is on the concrete wall by the Arvada Post Office on Allison Street, right next to City Hall. It should be finished in about a month.
Picked a cold time to be working on it.
Yeah, right. So have you been watching soccer at all, the World Cup?
A little bit.
I'm so
It's
pumped.
many other people around me, though, I feel like. It's been on in the newsroom, so.
So tomorrow, the U.S. takes on the Netherlands in the World Cup. Soccer fans, we're going to have to get up really early tomorrow. The game starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, Colorado time.
It's early for a weekend, but, you know, this is a do-or-die match for Team USA. The Dutch team is heavily favored to win, but the U.S. sure has a fighting spirit.
We feel amazing right now. We're running on a lot of adrenaline. The boys are ready. I'm pumped. We're just, excited to get out there and play one of the best teams in the world and on the biggest stage in the world. So yeah, we're definitely ready.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
NBC Nightly News will be live in Doha. We'll be in Doha, with a preview. Look for that report coming up at 5:30. So
yeah,
you're gonna be up at 8 watching?
I will. My toddler will be. So that
You'll be up at 8 regardless.
I'll be up. So, do you need a job this winter? You can get one in the middle of all the fun at the Stock Show.
And USA Today's list of best ski towns came out today. Guess which Colorado towns made the top 10?